right, so to build, pick up where we left off with grants, talking about a variety of issues that he researched and looked at, where not issues but things, accomplishments that Obama has achieved in his 4-year tenure, close to 4-year tenure, and how those accomplishments may get people to overlook the economy. Maybe, I don't know if that's exactly what you were saying, Rance, but
no, not exactly.
But could you kind of build upon that before or just clarify what you were saying?
I think that like I said before, I think that the economy is a huge issue in this particular election, but I don't think that the economy is going to be the underlying deciding factor.
Okay. Especially
because Obama is a president of color, he has to tap into various communities, various industries. So therefore, what he might not be able to completely accomplish within his first term, as long as there's some sort of movement within that particular industry, but there's major movement in other industries and other things, we'll, as voters, take that into account. And then from there, we won't just base our vote on the fact that, hey, I don't have a job, but, this guy's more so moving towards fixing the economy. We'll base that on, you know what, he's done all these other great things, and it's true, I may not have a job, but you know what, now I'm able to go to school and have health care and to be able to get financial aid to actually improve my net worth. So I might not have a job now, whereas maybe I'm only worth $10, $12, $15 an hour, but if I go to school, because he's opening at that particular lane, and I get my bachelor's degree, or my master's degree, or my doctorate degree, or whatever degree you would like to get, now my net worth goes up. So now it's like, okay, and that was afforded to any student by the Obama administration. I think they're gonna keep that in mind, because it's one thing not to have it. There's tons of students that are, while they're in school, working for the university. Those don't go on the books, but they are getting by while they have a roof over their head, food in their stomach. They get free t-shirts a lot of times if you go out to the events that the colleges are throwing out. But they'll also look at that as, you know what, on top of that, now I can say like, yo, I'm ready. I got my tie on, I got my suit on, and I got some letters behind me. It's not just my name. So I think that the economy is huge. I'm not trying to diminish that at all. But I think that within these modern times, I think that we have to look at elections differently. I mean, time will tell. I mean, I may be incorrect. I may be correct, I'm not sure. Time will definitely tell. November will tell. But I think that we have to also know that, and I believe that the voters are looking at things more so than just the economy. I understand, hold on one second, I understand that, if we look at history, this has been the deciding factor for many presidents before. I get that, I get it. But we are in modern times. We can't depict what the new history is going to be. So we have to also look at not just one particular area, but all the other areas that affect us as individuals, as family members, as American citizens. I think that is what this particular election is going to be more so about than just the economy.
And before I get to you, what you have to say, I just want to, build upon what Grant is saying, or kind of give another view, is that despite these accomplishments that you're mentioning, only 60% of the populace believe that we're heading in the wrong direction as a nation, whereas only 30% think we're going in the right direction. I mean, so in spite of these accomplishments, how do you really account for that? And also, Obama only has an approval rating of 47% according to Real Clear Politics. So if people are so satisfied with these accomplishments or taking these things into consideration, why do we find that people are thinking that we're going in the wrong direction for the most part?
And I'll jump on that. Also, over about, I think 54% think that the health care law wasn't a good law. And these are numbers. We can speculate on new history, but we've got past history that can guide us. And those we know who don't learn from the history end up being, the rest of the story actually, the same. And so what I think we need to do is learn from the history. And for the most part, the economy has been the #1 issue for each president. And so although we may like to see a different result, we may not, which is the question. And for a president at this stage in his presidency to have less than a 50% approval rating isn't good. To also have 8% unemployment, like I reiterated several times already, you haven't had a president win yet on that. Likewise, it's already hard for Democratic presidents to win 2 terms since Truman. It's been done once. So when you have those things going against you, you should have in the first couple of years known that that's going to be the most important issue. And that's why there are some in the Republican Party who actually think they're going to win. Because they see Obama attacking Romney based on outsourcing and being capital instead of talking about his record. And Romney's going to talk about his record as much as he possibly can. And I don't think that those outlier issues go into these statistics that we're seeing here. And these are real statistics, they're current as well. And so, at the end of the day, I think it's very important that we realize that those are the issues that the Romney campaign probably thinks they have some weight on, and they're going to push them as hard as they can, whether we would like.
And I think too, to add to that question that I threw out there with the right direction and wrong track sort of numbers, do you think those numbers indicate that America is hungry for change, or do you think they're hungry to keep things as they are, based on that 60% wrong direction?
America has been changing, so I think that they are hungry for more change. But I think that within the last 4 years, so many things have changed. I'm not really. You'll see numbers go up and down. Polls will be in a person's favor, and then eventually be their dismay. The numbers that really count are going to be the numbers that are going to be that are going to happen in November. We've seen this time and time and time again. 1 week Romney's winning, the next week Obama's winning. He's going to win and lose until November, until someone actually wins or loses. So to throw out, hey, the statistics of this and then that and this and that, I'm not concerned about that. I've never been concerned about that. Let me finish. Let me finish because when you go, we definitely give you that time.
These have been pretty steady.
We give you that time. So give me that time, and when you go, I will definitely give you your time. I think that we have to look at the major changes that have been made. Sure, there have been some mistakes. I don't think that there's any president, mayor, assemblyman who hasn't made particular mistakes, whether they're male, female, whatever the particular position is. But I think that if we look at as a whole, some of the improvements compared to a lot of things that have either stayed the same or gotten worse or just haven't, really improved at all, I think that we are going to choose to continue to change and to move forward with Obama. I think that he's done an outstanding job, overall. But I just don't think that numbers that say he's in the lead, he's losing, really matter at all. Honestly, we could throw these out a million times a day, because he was going to lose to Hillary. Seriously, did that happen? He wasn't going to win at all. Hell, if we go as statistics, there wouldn't be any black homeowners. There wouldn't be any black business owners. It will never happen. That'll be the day. So, we understand that history is important, but we also got to understand that, today is a chance to improve upon history by changing it, by continuously changing it. And if we don't look at that versus just stay within what the books are saying, not understanding that our movement today, every conversation is new letters on that particular page that brings upon a new history, I think that we're just going to be going in circles.
So real quick, those numbers that he just gave have been pretty consistent. They're not going up and down. All right, so that's the point I wanted to make. And by all means, if you see me make an incorrect statement, feel free to interrupt me before I continue. At the end of the day, these numbers haven't changed. They are very consistent, and they are worrisome. I'm in touch with some of these people on both sides, and they are worrisome. At the end of the day, there is sort of this tide to change that You know, some people are wondering if it's going to change in the other direction. I mean, the numbers do matter. And at the end of the day, if you think of, you know, what happened in 2010, the Republicans swept. They don't, not only did they sweep, they swept at like local levels. That means like your mayor won, your state legislator won, your councilman won who was a Republican. Mm-hmm. So we've got to be, you know, very cognizant of those things. And we're in an era where when you think of the Tea Party, I mean, it's an exceptional example of, you know, you got your first black president, and now people are dressing up like it's the 1700s. Talking about Juneteenth or whatever again. You know, so something struck a nerve here, and, you know, I think just sort of an objective analysis, which is what I'm trying to give here, is important to both sides. And, you know, at the end of the day, that isn't me making a prediction, it's me just seeing what I see, seeing the numbers, seeing these polls that show that, for the most part, the greater America is still somewhat dissatisfied with this president. And if he does win another term, what would be some of the issues that he would address, and what should he be pushed to do? And are people, as a result of these, maybe willing to give, you know, Romney a chance? And I think we spoke off topic earlier, I mean off camera, if you will, earlier, about the fact that if you believe Romney is going to be able to run more, get more money than McCain did, if you believe that Romney is a more attractive candidate, perhaps, than the McCain in several different aspects, then that means Obama, therefore, can't go from 98% of the black vote to 96 because he's got a better candidate he's running against. You know, that means Obama can't get less of the youth vote because he's running up against perhaps a stronger, more financially sound candidate. And I think it may be a more interesting election in that regard.
Yeah, you know, one of the things is you're right. And when you look at McCain, you look at Romney. Romney is more polished. He's younger. He's raising more money. He looks like a president. He looks presidential. And he's been an executive. So, you know, when you look at McCain, you know, McCain is a senator. He's been around a while, but he's a little older. And you got to understand, over the Bush election, people actually thought, well, if you put McCain in, you know, there's another Bush. And so, and the numbers wasn't that good. And when you look at the Obama numbers are not good. If you look at the Congress, I mean, the Congress is worse. So, you know, how people view the government. And one of the things that, you know, when Obama got elected, I mean, there was this, you know, when he first got elected, I mean, people wanted to see, I heard Republicans, so the fact that people wanted to see Obama do great. You know, he's a likable person. You know, they liked him, but the idea that they wanted him to do some great things. But something happened in those 1 or 2 years, which was healthcare, and some other things that he did. You know, across the country, across the world, that people like said, okay, well, this guy is not. He's someone that you can't work with. You know, he's supposed to have been a president that can come in and say, you know, like I said, come together, let's have a coffee, let's have some tea and donuts, and let's talk. I mean, he had a beer summit. You know, he had a beer summit where it was a beer summit with the senators and the Congress sitting down with them. And that's one of the things for executive order, executive leadership. I mean, if you look at history, and history shows a lot. If you look at Lyndon Johnson and what he did during his presidency, I mean, you gotta understand, this guy was a senator first. He was a senator. You know, he was head of the Senate, and you know, he understood Washington. And you're looking at, in history, you had, you know, the past 2 presidents. George Bush was considered, he was an outsider. You know, Obama, outsider.